everybody, Ace Channelim here. I hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome back to another episode of Form Fight. Form Fight is a series where we take a look at a Pokemon with more than one form, or a branched evolution, or a counterpart Pokemon. We have a look at the differences between the Pokemon in question, and we try and work out which one is the best. And so we can see these Pokemon in action on the battlefield. We also have a Metronome battle between them, just for a little bit of fun, just to see them doing moves that they wouldn't normally do. If you're a fan of Form Fight already and you're ready for more, hit the like button, show you're enjoying this series. Let's set a goal of, let's go for 498 likes. And of course, hit subscribe if you're new so you never miss an episode. And of course, don't forget, use code ACE to save yourself some money on G Fuel. Black on Blackberry might be one of my favorites. This is the 15-year shaker, by the way, which is very nice too. Code ACE is what you need. But with all that out of the way, let's have a look at today's challenges. Today on Form Fight, we're going to be comparing the branched evolutions of Toxcell, which are amped form Toxtricity and low-key form Toxtricity. Now, if your Toxcell's nature is hardy, brave, adamant, naughty, docile, impish, lax, hasty, jolly, naive, rash, sassy, or quirky, it will evolve into Toxtricity in its amped form. However, if your Toxcell's nature is lonely, bold, relaxed, timid, serious, modest, mild, quiet, bashful, calm, gentle, or careful, it will evolve into Toxtricity in its low-key form. But what makes these two forms of Toxtricity so different? Let's take a look. According to the Pokedex, both forms of Toxtricity stand at 1.6 meters tall and weigh 40 kilograms. The Pokedex information for amped form says when this Pokemon sounds as if it's strumming a guitar, it's actually clawing at the protrusions on its chest to generate electricity. This short-tempered and aggressive Pokemon chugs stagnant water to absorb any toxins it might contain. As for low-key form, its Pokedex information says capable of generating 15,000 volts of electricity, this Pokemon looks down on all that would challenge it. It has an electrical organ on its chest. While generating electricity, it fills its surroundings with what sounds like the strumming of a bass guitar. Appearance-wise, both forms of Toxtricity are purple bipedal lizards with short legs and long arms with spikes on their wrists, hips, and backs, and mohawks which appear to be made of electricity. Amped form has a yellow mohawk and torso, whereas low-key form has a pale blue mohawk and torso. In their shiny forms, both forms' main purple coloration changes to a dark pink. Now let's have a look at their typing, weaknesses, and resistances. Both forms of Toxtricity are dual-type electric and poison Pokemon. This makes them both weak to ground and psychic type moves, with the ground weakness being a 4x weakness. They both resist fighting, flying, poison, bug, steel, grass, electric, and fairy type attacks, and have no immunities. Now let's have a look at the stats and abilities of these Pokemon forms. Both forms of Toxtricity share the same base stats, boasting great attack and special attack, with the rest of their stats being fairly average. They share the same primary ability, which is Punk Rock, which increases the power of sound-based moves such as Boom Burst or Overdrive by 30% and reduces the damage Toxtricity takes from these moves by 50%. Amped form Toxtricity's secondary ability is Plus, which increases the special attack of this Pokemon if another Pokemon with Plus or Minus is in the battle with it. As I've said before, this ability is fine, but for it to work, you kind of have to limit the abilities available throughout your team, which isn't always a good strategy. Low-key secondary ability is Minus, which is the same as Plus. They both share the same hidden ability, which is Technician, which boosts the power of moves that have base power of 60 or less by 50%, which I guess is useful for taking advantage of moves like Shockwave and Swift, which never miss, giving them 90 base power each, or even Power Up Punch if you're running a physical Toxtricity. Personally, I'd stick with Punk Rock, but I'm pretty sure there's someone out there that can make Technician Toxtricity very effective. Now it's time for me to decide which of these two Pokemon forms I prefer, and as well, just before we jump in, I will point out one last difference between them, which is that low-key form learns Magnetic Flux, which increases the defense and the special defense of itself and its ally Pokemon if one of them, has plus or minus by one stage. And the amped form learns Shift Gear, which increases its speed by 2 stages and its attack by 1 stage, which I kind of prefer. And it's interesting that because I prefer the amped version. I just like the color scheme better. I mean, that's the only difference in these Pokemon really, is the color scheme. Because everything else is pretty much the same, except for those 2 moves. The one learns Magnetic Flux, the other learns Shift Gear, and it's not really that big of a deal because I probably won't use either of those moves. So with this Pokemon, it pretty much is just which color scheme do you prefer, and I prefer the yellow and purple. I think it's a nice electric poison look and it's really cool. Nothing against the blue version, I just like the yellow that little bit more. Soz. But of course, it's not just up to me to decide, it's up to you guys to decide which is your favorite. But before you do, let's have a little bit of fun. Let's watch these Pokemon do moves that they shouldn't. Let's watch the Metronome battle That's going to happen right now. Of course, as always, I'll point out these Pokemon have max IVs in all stats, 0 EVs in all stats. They're not holding any items. They've got neutral natures. They've got their hidden abilities like we normally do on Form Fight, so they've both got Technician, which should make things pretty interesting. Maybe make the battle a bit shorter, to be honest. Oh boy. They've both got the same typing, same base stats. Everything's the same. Everything is literally in this battle up to the Metronome. Let's go. Well, it's time to crack out basically the electric guitar Pokemon, I suppose. It's Toxtricity amped form versus Toxtricity low-key form. I can't wait to get tongue-tied trying to say Toxtricity over and over again. Might stick to saying amped and low-key. This is going to be an interesting one. Everyone's got Technician, so this could be very, very short. We see regular low-key starting things off with Gastro Acid suppressing the Technician ability of Shiny Amped from the get-go. Brilliant play there. Now it's over to Shiny low-key. What's it going to do here? It's going to go for Minimize and make sure that its evasiveness goes up by 2 stages, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult for the other team's Toxtricity to be able to hit it. Now it's time for the Amped team, the yellow team, who's going to go for Fusion Flare, but it is avoided by Shiny Loki. Very unfortunate. Now it's over to Shiny Amped. What's it going to do here? It's going to go for Grudge. It wants its attacker to bear a grudge. Is it even going to get attacked, though? That is the question. Isn't it the end of the turn? Who knows? Well, here we go. It's over to the next turn. Nothing has really happened so far apart from a suppressed Technician. Here we see the regular low-key form goes for Belly Drum. Uh-oh, this could be very, very dangerous. I was talking about the battle maybe being short. This could shorten the battle significantly, halving its HP to maximize its attack. We have a +6 attack low-key Toxtricity on the field. We have a Dragon Rush coming out from the amped form onto that Shiny Loki for huge damage, bringing it right down into the yellow. Very dangerous territory for the low-key team. Here's Electro Web coming out from the Shiny Amp form. It's stabbed, but it's not very effective on both low-key there, but it is going to drop their speed by a stage, which means there's no more speed tie in this battle. It is the Amped team that are the faster Pokemon in this Metronome battle. Shiny Loki is in the danger zone right now. What will it do to resolve this issue? Goes for Circle Throw. That's going to be not very effective as a fighting type move. Does a decent amount of damage for a not very effective move, but not good enough right now to that Shiny Amped form. Now it's over to Shiny Amped, who is going to start the next turn. What's it going to do here? It's going to go for Thrash, which is going to deal a significant amount of damage on that low-key that had the Belly Drum. That's now out of the game. We're down to one very unlucky low-key Toxtricity who has barely any HP left. Here comes regular Amped going for Brine, but it's avoided. Thank God for that minimize from earlier on. Here's a not very effective power-up punch, but it will increase the attack of that low-key form, and it's going to need every bit of attack power it can muster to try and survive against these two almost full HP amped forms. It's not looking good, is it? Here's the Thrash. It's avoided thanks to that minimize. Once again, there's the confusion on the Shiny Amped form. That's very, very lucky. What's going to happen now is regular Amped gears up, getting ready, goes for Will-O-Wisp, trying to burn its opponent, but that also misses. That's a testament again to the minimize and also to the accuracy of Will-O-Wisp. Here's a Water Pledge coming out from Shiny Low-Key. It's going to do a decent chunk of damage there. Almost brings Shiny Amp down to less than half its max HP. Not quite, though. Not quite there. 2 hit points away from half, in fact. Here's the regular Amped form, who's going to go for Eerie Impulse. It's avoided. Incidentally, Eerie Impulse is the move that it doesn't learn. There's Shiny Amped, I think so. Anyway, doing massive damage to itself. Oh, dear, with that confusion. Here comes Shiny Low-Key, though, who is going to go for Gastro Acid, but it failed. Clearly, it went to use it on the Amped form that already has its Technician ability suppressed by Gastro Acid. There's the confusion once again. Shiny Amped hits itself in the face once again, putting itself in the danger zone. That is not good. And here comes the regular Amped form, who's going to go for Water Spout, though, and it is going to connect this time. That's going to do massive damage. Takes out Low-Key. That looks beautiful in this gen. I've not seen Water Spout yet. That's amazing. Well, down goes Low-Key form, and Amped forms won it. Just like that. Absolute dominance. That was absolutely insane. So you've heard what I've got to say, you've seen these Pokemon on the battlefield, now it's time for you to make your decision. Which of the 2 forms of Toxtricity do you prefer? Amped form or low-key form? Let me know in the comments below and explain to everybody why your pick is the absolute best. And of course, that'll do it for another episode of Form Fight. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. And let me know in the comments your suggestions for future Form Fights. And of course, if you'd like to save money on G Fuel, use code ACE. And don't forget, if you want to support the channel, like lovely people down here do, pledge to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/AceTrinillium. But until next time, I'm Ace Trinillium. Keep on training.